Hello everyone, this is Tripper, and today we are playing Chivalry Medieval Warfare. And we have here today a good friend of mine that has not been amongst the living in recent days. Say hello, friend.
Hello, I'm back.
He is back. This is ColonialStar. For those of you who don't know, he helped me out with some tactics in the past, and he recently put up a new montage, which I think I'll link in the description, which actually has a lot of the tactics we're going to talk about today. It highlights the Longsword, which is a beastly weapon, and what we are going to talk about on this fine day. So we're going to begin with some duels, as we usually do. Now, I warn you, I main man-at-arms. He mains knight longsword, so just keep that in mind. But he's also rusty, so may work in my favor. No. Ah, fuck.
That's good fight.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't heal.
Oh, shit. Okay, whatever. See if I can beat you with no health, Al. Oh, God.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Sadness.
You had no health, though, so... Oh, I could heal. I think we can only heal once.
Ah.
For life. Get on my hit
That
trade
Excel
meta.
swim.
Ow. Nope. No, fuck.
Ooh. You almost got me.
Hit trade meta, not strong enough. Alright.
One more?
Yep.
Alright.
Get at me. Can you? I don't think you can. Fuck this.
One hand.
I'm so ninja, man.
I can't even tell when the animations go. Alright.
Only one hand. Ow. I'll get it. Just wait. I'll get it. Oh, what the fuck?
You didn't parry the first one, so I was like,
No! And that hit me right at the end of my parry. Okay. Okay, those are good fights. I think you kill me almost every time, so that was good. And we're going to teach you guys everything we just did. Even with some feints thrown in, which we didn't do, because, you know, we're honorable gentlemen. Gentlemen. And, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we cool. We cool. He's a star, so he's cool, obviously. And we're going to start with some dragging stuff. So obviously I've made a dragging tactics. I mentioned dragging in just about every video because it's relevant for pretty much every weapon. However, the longsword, like all knight swords, can be dragged the fuck out of, whether it's an acceleration, deceleration, what have you. And Colonial is the master of said drags, as he is showing you currently. So just take it away, Colonial. What do you think is the most useful drag with a longsword?
Okay, well, you can do any kind of drag with the longsword. You can do slide LMBs, or you can do overheads, or you can do hold overheads, or waterfalls, anything you want, really. But in my opinion, what works the best is the just the regular foot drag with the longsword, which I just missed. There you go.
There you
which
go.
is pretty much where you pretend you're doing a straight overhead and you drag it around their body to their foot.
Right.
Works very well.
Let me try that. Fuck. There you go. Let me try an alt.
Alt overheads are the same concept, just around the body into the foot.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
And a good note is that with the longsword in the game right now, if you hit your opponent in the foot once with an overhead, it will take 3 more overheads to kill them. If you hit them in the body, it only takes 3. So foot, 4 overheads, 3, and 3 to the body.
Righto. Yeah, it's always the damage thing you want to keep in mind with the foot drags, because it doesn't deal too much damage, but it's a good way of getting your opponent off their feet. Literally.
Yeah, it also, you hit... That was a good pun. It's very efficient. Like, you can hit a foot drag a lot more often than you will hit, like, a regular overhead drag to their shoulder. So that's always something to remember.
Right. I gotcha. Okay, so that's a foot drag, really effective.
Yep. Now, another variation to the foot drag is the waterfall, which is doing the same as a foot drag, but letting your sword go across your opponent and dragging it back into their foot.
Ah.
So, as I'm facing your opponent, if you're facing your opponent and you're doing a normal waterfall, you want your overhead to go to the left of them and go into their foot.
Okay. Let me try that. So, like, that? Or like...
That was an alt. Just do a normal overhead.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
perfect.
I understand. Okay. Like that.
Yep, perfect. That's a waterfall.
Okay, so you start it on the right side, and then you, like, bring it around.
Exactly. Because what a lot of people do is, if you notice when you drag someone a lot, they'll look into your drag, right? So, look into my regular overhead, okay?
Uh-huh.
Now, like, parry it, though.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect. Now, with a waterfall, you can do the opposite, and they look to that side and you on the back.
Wrong
and
side.
It comes out of nowhere.
Okay.
So that's always something really good to remember. If people like looking into the sword a lot, you can manipulate your sword's animation.
Right. So if you start like that and you end up pulling it around, then you blocks on the wrong side.
Exactly.
Right. One more. Okay, I got this. Almost. I think you have to look down at the end of it, don't you?
You have to just pull it into them, really.
Pull it in. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was failing to do that. Wait, alright. Fuck
There we
it.
go.
That was good. Shoulder drag. Just so you guys know, the waterfall, it does take a lot of practice. I actually got it wrong in the advanced dragging tactics that Colonial helped me with. And he just showed you to it correctly. I showed you it correctly a moment ago. But it is difficult to do without a lot of practice with it.
Yeah, I love waterfalls. That's why I can usually hit them a lot.
Yeah, watch his montage to see a lot of them. They're really, really cool. All right.
And waterfalls also same concept with ults. Same thing.
Okay.
It's just you drag it to the opposite side, but we don't have to go over that.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You want to go over more dragging tactics? Okay. I guess you could say that excels are extremely effective with the longsword, and when you mix up excels and drags in combos, so let's say I'll start off with like you can do an accelerated left mouse button and then come into an overhead drag. That will throw off your opponent because they know that you're excelling your attacks, so they think everything will come down faster. So that's just something to remember. Comboing drags, excels, and that really throws your opponent off, which is very effective.
All right, let me try that just now. So you basically did some like
exactly.
Like that. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
And like against harder opponents, you can go like pull off one of these, then go to a waterfall. It's endless amounts of combos that you can do.
Bingo. Yeah. Combination is key.
Exactly.
All right. Any other drags you can think of?
Typical shoulder drags are normal. LMB drags are normal. You can't really do a stab drag with this weapon because its stab is pretty quick.
Short, yeah.
But that's okay because you really, on weapons, you kind of want fast stabs. Oh, and here's a good. That was good that you attacked me. The riposte. There's something called a riposte foot drag, which say attack me, Tripper.
Ooh.
That's a regular overhead excel with a riposte. Now if you do a riposte foot drag, attack me and then try to parry. Okay.
Okay. Nope.
Oh, whoops. I need to parry.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah.
You can actually drag the riposte because everybody knows riposte they're really fast attacks, so they're always like panicking right away.
All right. Hit me.
So that works very well. Try to let your weapon go to the outside of them. Don't do any up and down motion. Just let it go to the side and then bring it right in.
Gotcha. One more time.
My bad. Exactly.
All right, one more time.
Yeah,
do it.
Parrying.
He's good. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
a very effective dragging tactic right there.
Sick. All right. Well, there's a lot of different drag. As you guys can see, there's a lot of different ways you can drag the longsword. It's a very versatile weapon, as you'll see. And the next thing we're going to teach you generally is how to stab with this weapon. There are many different types of stabs. We taught you a couple in the dragging tactics. We're going to teach you some more specific ones, as well as the ones in the dragging tactics in the context of this weapon. And obviously, one that a lot of people will know just from doing intuitively is the accelerated drag.
You want me to do you?
Yep. Alright, so as you guys saw, that was super fucking fast. It was like from attack to hit, it was almost no time. Well, let me try it on you now. There you go. Yeah.
I couldn't even parry that.
Exactly, yeah. Because you're basically moving and looking into your attack. So it can be very difficult.
You kind of want to think of your sword. Think of when you stab, you go straight. The way to excel your attack is to, when you stab, move into your opponent and kind of make like a motion with your sword going down. So you want to go like, like push into your weapon. Mm-hmm. It's almost like you're pushing into your opponent.
Right. Gotcha. Let me try that. Yeah, you want to push into your opponent.
Perfect.
Bingo.
You just go like.
Good way of explaining it.
If you want to, for a sound difference, this would be a normal stab. This would be an excel. So it's kind of, you can kind of hear the difference. That's a normal, excel. So like, if you pull off the accelerate, you'll definitely be able to hear the difference if you can't really see the difference.
Okay, so that's the excel. It's very, very effective at throwing people off and getting a good hit. Z stabs are really cool stabs that mess with your opponent. And why don't you do one on me?
Okay, so I'll show you an example first. This would be a Z stab.
Yeah, I just barely dodged the first one. Oh shit.
So that's pretty much a Z stab. It's what you're practically doing is with your stab, you're going to the right, then back to the left. So it's you're pretty much making a Z with your sword, and the whole point of it is to, when players follow your stab, so stab this side of me, Tripper. You look this way, but when you do a Z stab, you'll fake this. You'll fake going exactly, You fake it one way and go the other.
Oh man, it's like a butt walk.
The only thing is about these is back parries, which happen a lot. But the way to prevent a back parry is you have to start your attack from farther out, because what happens when you back parry is you bring your weapon tracer through your opponent and bring it to his back, but it's still, the game recognizes as the opponent's parry going through your tracer. So what you pretty much have to do is keep your tracer farther back and then go to the outside of them. If I can.
There you go. Yeah.
Or you can go. You can also go both ways with the Z stab. But generally, going to the right of them works, or from Ripper's angle, the left.
There you go. Yeah. All right. That's a really effective tactic. The longsword is just fast enough to be able to use a Z stab. Things like the Norse sword for the man-at-arms and as a secondary also use the Z-stab really effectively because it's so fast. But, it's equally effective based on the speed of your weapon. Anyway, side stabs. Side stabs are awesome. I use the fuck out of them as a man-at-arms, and as a knight, you should also know how to do them as well. It's a really good example.
So, a side stab is just bringing around your opponent into their back. And that's pretty much all a side step is. It's to pretty much go around the parry. Like, think of your sword making a U. You just go to the right and then drag it right back in.
I like to call them C stabs. Some call them D stabs. I don't know. It's whatever you want to say to illustrate the movement of the weapon. It's basically just an arc that your stab takes to get around your opponent's parry.
And footwork is a big factor into every one of these stabs, including C stabs. It's pretty much the only reason the stabs work is because you're moving your opponent, or you're moving your character to around your opponent. it's really important that you get the footwork down with these stabs.
Yep. Footwork is imperative with these
Yeah,
stabs.
because you can't just like stab around them like
Nope.
that. You have to move your feet around them.
Bingo.
Here, kill me so I can be full health.
Yep. Oh yeah, side note, what he just did. Rainbows, regular LMB drags, those are all plausible with the longsword, and that you obviously throw them in here and there. They're just general dragging stuff you can use with just about every night weapon.
Yeah.
Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Alright, so moving along. It's just about all the stab stuff. Next we're going to do feints. Now I made a feinting tactics video a little while ago. I thought it explained feinting relatively well. And I find it pertinent now to explain feinting with specific weapons. So obviously the longsword, it's a very good weapon to feint because, like we said before, the stabs are very, very fast. Which means we can make the opponent expect it to hit them really quickly, quicker than it should. Which means if we go like that, they could block it. But if we go like this, nope.
Yeah, you can't really tell.
You're gonna panic. Yeah.
A good stab feint. Well, the best way to do a stab feint is to get as close to your opponent as you can and literally put it right into their chest and just feint. Like you want to pronounce. There's something called a micro feint, which is like pressing your feint button really fast, and then there's very pronounced feints. Oh, whoops.
Like that. The very end of the wind-up.
Yeah, and you'll pretty much like 9 times out of 10, if you're face hugging someone and you do a really good stab feint, they won't be able to read it.
Yep.
But a way to counter that, for instance, is crouching and leaning back.
Yeah.
This is a very useful tactic against people who face hug and feint, which I actually do a lot. I crouch almost half the time I'm in dueling situations and we're feinting, because it improves your vision so well.
Here, try to feint me right now. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's even though they crouch back, you can still get them. But
oh yeah, absolutely. It's a lot harder.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more difficult.
Yeah. You crouch, let me feint you. It's still obviously okay. Well, Colonial's just a glutton for feints.
Right.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's absolutely possible to deal with these kind of feints, the face hugging ones.
Yeah.
And if you feint when you're like this distance from the enemy, it's useless because they have the opportunity to block it.
Yeah, you can also read them a lot more when you're farther away. Like, you never want to be just standing still in like a duel. You don't want to just be like feint. Like,
no.
You
need to be moving, active.
Footwork is a huge factor. And this applies to not just the longsword. It applies to most weapons in this game.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yep. So to go along with the stab feint, combo feinting is a big thing. So let's just say you miss an attack and then you come in with a stab. It's very fast, but if you miss an attack and come... Oh, I didn't mean to miss... Yeah. Miss an attack and come in with a stab feint, those are very useful feints.
Yeah.
Because they don't really have a... Like, it's just a lot... The animation looks a lot different than a regular stab feint.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a very effective stab feint, for sure.
A
lot of people do this trick where you, like... They were at the distance of each other with a longsword. This is useful because it's called the longsword. It's the best reach out of the two swords.
Yep.
So we're at the breach of each other. If you say he had like a sword of war or a messer and they stabbed, and I know my range very well for the longsword, so this is about the range right here that it will stab. Okay, I lied. I don't know the range better. But if say he couldn't reach me with the sword of war, you would pull back and then come in with a stab. And if you're fighting a skilled opponent, that will combo feint to parry. So combo feint to parry after you miss. Oh, I messed up.
Wait.
You're supposed to
block. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I was supposed to come in and feint.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Let's try that again. That's a very good tip. Fuck, I hit you. All right, one more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, that's a very good feinting tactic with the longsword due to its range. So that's something to take advantage for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this weapon's really good for feinting, just like the other swords for the knight. Oh, also, the overhead feints,
Oh, yeah, those are big.
relatively effective. You will... There are two kinds. There's a flash feint, and then there's like a full feint. So the flash feint is where you kind of make it look like you're going to try to accelerate. So you're like that.
Yeah.
You're going to try to accelerate it, but you actually feint it, and they fall for it. The other way is to look like you're going to drag it, and then wait. Look like you're going to drag it, and then wait. You look like you're going to drag it, and then you feint, and then you go in for like a stab or an accelerated overhead. So something like this. Bingo.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is just some simple feint and stuff you can do with this thing.
Yeah, and of course you can do the stupid feints where you do reverses and feint. But those, I mean, those are very useful in face hug range. But if your opponent has some like even decent footwork, he'll know how to get around that or keep his distance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, so those are pretty much the main stuff. We're gonna do some side points here. Just a general comparison between the longsword, sword of war, and the messer. So I prefer the messer because I am big on spins and dragging stabs, C-stabs, and dragged overheads. However, Colonial illuminated me a little bit ago that the longsword and messer overhead were actually identical in speed.
The longsword has the same dragging potential as the messer completely.
Yep.
And also the longsword is actually it's a bit weird because the longsword feels like such a fast weapon when you're like trading stabs and like slide slashes, LMBs. And when someone comes in with a really long overhead drag, it's just like so it throws your opponent off so much because they had no idea how slow the sword could be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So just to compare, like this is what the messer overhead looks like, and that's what the longsword overhead looks like. They're pretty much the same. I know you guys probably can't see, you can't see from his perspective, but if you'll just think, you'll probably realize that looks really similar to the longsword. It's really not slower, or faster for that matter. However, I think the messer stabs are a little bit slower.
Yeah, they're a
Yeah,
bit slower.
I do like those messer C stabs.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. That's a point. The good pointer. The slower weapons with longer windups, which is the like right before the release state of the weapon. So before it's doing damage and you're winding up your attack, the slower that is, the more like able you are to do a more pronounced Z stab.
Oh yeah.
Because it pretty much just gives you more time to like mess with your opponent. Yeah, like it's so hard for me to read.
Yeah. So yeah, it's much longer stab. That's pretty much the only difference between messer and longsword. Just about. They're pretty much the same otherwise. I prefer it because I do like those stabs. I like damage, you know. Same. Now, Sword of War, obviously, fast as fuck.
Oh yeah.
It is like, you go ahead and stab with the longsword. I'll just show them a comparison. So that's that longsword stab. Sword of War stab, like the fuck is this?
It's just very fast.
Yeah.
And Sword of War stab feints are
like crazy.
pretty much the longsword but better. It's so hard to read. Sword of War stab feint.
Yeah, Sword of War feints are crazy. I'll probably do a tactics on at some point. But just a comparison, the Sword of War is insanely fast. The feints and the excels are crazy. You can't really do things like waterfalls and foot drags as effectively. You can still do them. I see people do them. But it's easier with the longsword.
Yep, the Sword of War, the way the swords are pretty much set up is the Sword of War is the fastest of the three swords in every aspect of it. It's just a faster weapon.
Mm-hmm.
The messer is the slower weapon, aka like pretty much the messer is the one that deals the most damage and is the slowest. Sword of War least damage and the fastest, and then there's the longsword, which is the middleman between the two.
Bingo.
And it takes the speed of the Sword of War for the stab, for instance, and the dragging abilities of the messer. So
yeah,
that's why in my opinion, I like the long sword the best out of the three, is because you can do everything both the swords can do.
Yes, it is a very versatile weapon, like I said at the beginning. It can't do the things the other two can do very well, but it does both. It does those things decently well, where you can do both without worrying about the hindrance that either has. Like the Sword of War, it can't do things like waterfalls very effectively. It's too fast. The Messer can't do things like insanely awesome stab feints, but the longsword can do both to a decent degree.
Exactly.
That's why we use it. I use it from time to time. I'm starting to use it a bit more than the Messer, actually, because I do like that balance. I'm trying to get better at feigning, that sort of thing. Also, quick shout out to people who use longswords one-handed. Let me blow myself up. They are few and far between. However, they can do really, really well with it. As you saw, we were kind of doing to each other at the beginning in duels. It can be a very divisive tactic in that it totally fudges your animations. Like Colonial, go ahead and do one of those weird stabs. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, he's just like, wow.
Yeah, the weapon almost doesn't look like you're winding up to attack. It's just like if you do it right, like it doesn't even look like you're winding up.
Yeah.
It just looks like you're stabbed.
It looks like you're just moving it back.
Spewts out, yeah.
Yeah. The overheads look like you're just gonna like punch downward or some shit.
And you can drag the one over the
yeah.
longsword also, which just makes it that much stupider.
Yeah, exactly. It is fudgy. A lot of people see it as just kind of a really janky thing to do, but it can be effective if you're experienced with it. Absolutely. Shit, I need to suicide again. Beyond the one-handedness, something else you can do is use longsword with kite shield. And a lot of competitive players actually use this. I say a lot, I don't mean a lot. I just mean, a decent number of people. One guy in my clan uses it, Kyler. He's very skilled with it. He aces kendos like they're freaking cherry bushes. Maybe he needs to plant. And I don't know where I got that analogy from. But he does very, very well with it. And the reason why it's so effective is that if you use it correctly and you don't miss block something like an idiot, you can pretty much survive anything and everything until your stamina bar goes down. And then you get your health bar to go down, and then you're dead. So you essentially get 2 health bars with the shield. Yeah. Essentially. And it's just super duper effective. It annoys the hell out of everyone, but it's insanely effective. And if you throw feints in there, you are pretty much guaranteed to win.
Yeah, feint thing with one-handed is crazy good.
It's fucking stupid.
But I mean, if you're against the shield opponent, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, kicks and shield bashes, heavy kicks and heavy shield bashes work against them. If they throw their shield up too much, just find a moment where they're doing it erroneously, and you can go ahead and bash them.
As you can see, kicks
borked as fuck.
Very effective.
We gonna just, well, nope.
Wrecked.
Wrecked. So yeah, those are the quick shoutouts. We're just gonna do some finishing duels, and I'm gonna try the shield out because I'm a little whore. Yeah.
We're gonna use shields.
I'm gonna do shield. I don't know about you. Whatever you want. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Bad news bear.
Uh-oh. Okay, don't do what I'm doing, which is like flickering the shield on and off. Either decide to put it up or decide to put it down. Because like there's a shield recovery that you have to deal with.
Uh-oh.
My second health bar is gone. Still have my first one. Fuck! One-handed longsword OP.
Yeah.
Alright, let's do some normal ass shit. I gotta throw those feints in there, man. I got it.
I could read all of them.
That face hug.
Oh, I'm getting wrecked right now.
Ooh! Dead Z stab.
Prepared that. Yeah, that was nice.
Yes. I think Colonial just made me better than him with the longsword, guys. Inadvertently.
Tactics too strong.
Yeah, this is what usually happens when people when I make a tactics, I get really good at the specific tactic that I just learned. Like after me and Omega and Spook did the feigning tactics, I got pretty good at feints. I'm not gonna say I got really good because you know I'm still not as good as them, obviously, but I got pretty good at feints, way better than I was before.
Oh, hit the ground so you couldn't.
I was actually in recovery, so yeah, I couldn't. Okay, I need to actually do a waterfall and not fail at it. Oh, God. No, 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 no! Ah, foot drags. My foot even fell off.
Dude, foot drags.
That was tragic.
It's, actually, a quick tip is a stab with a longsword. If you do a stab and combo into a overhead foot drag, it's very effective. So what you pretty much do is you stab them, like look down into their chest, like while you're winding up for your overhead, and then just do the foot drag.
Okay. Sounds like it fucks with their psychology a lot.
Comboing the stab into the foot drag is very effective. I get that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
You should be like, oh, that's a nice matrix.
Oh yeah, I got super good at matrixing after I made the matrix tactics. Oh, fuck. No, no, God.
Yeah.
Oh
Right,
my
so
God.
Dragging combos, just they're so effective.
They're so good. All right, 6-18. I think one more duel, then we'll just say you're better. That was a really good way of counteracting the C-stab. He looked at me as I was moving around him. Yes.
Nice. That was a nice side stab, or
Yeah,
whatever you
thanks.
want to call it.
I like C-stab. I mean, it's like C. I don't know, whatever. It's personal preference. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Give ColonialStar a sub. Check out his channel. I plopped his montage and his channel in the description. Check it out. Like, share, subscribe me. Colonial, it's been grand having you. Thank you.
Thank you, Tripper. That was fun.
Yes. We are beast bros. We are... Ow. Fuck. Alright. I'll see you guys next time. As always, have a grand day. To Ripper out.